Hi, I'm Angel, an acquaintance of those weird guys.
Hi, I'm Justin, a colleague of Jay and Matthew's.
Hi, I'm related to Matthew, but have gotten to know Jay to an extent lately. He's super rad.
Hey, I'm a family friend of those weird guys.
It's gratifying that they seem to be doing much better. I was amazed to hear that they're even starting a show. I hope things continue to progress for them in a natural way, or in a way that suits their respective lifestyles.
I think it is good that they're starting a show, and I hope this will be positive in their lives going forward.
I do think running a show is probably a good creative outlet for them, and Lord knows they could have let off some steam. But I'm at a point where I can't bite my tongue anymore. There are right times for things and wrong times for things, and this is one of those wrong ones.
As happy as I am for the guys, I think everyone should be realistic in their expectations, right? While they will be physically present on stage, their hosting abilities will be significantly reduced. It's hard for them getting much across. Hosting involves much more than simply being on stage. It's about human engagement, and given the circumstances, this seems unlikely.
Unfortunately, they're going to have to be restrained, and I'm not exactly sure what they'll be able to do up there. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. I just hope that they'll be safe.
I love working with them, but if they have to cancel their show at Pecos, so be it.
Let's all just try to support them tonight, no matter how things go. Everything should be just fine.
Welcome to Those Weird Guys live event at Pecos. Thank you for coming to the live event featuring the Lemon Twigs live at Pecos. Feel free to face forward and hold your body upright. Stay in a position where the least strain is placed on supporting muscles and ligaments during showgazing. This should keep bones and joints in the correct alignment so that muscles are being used properly. It should also prevent the spine from becoming fixed in abnormal positions. Please honor fellow showgazers by allowing for ample personal space. One arm's length will do the trick. If this phrasing is too abstract, you can test this yourself by swinging your arms out to the sides like a pterodactyl soaring over a long-forgotten valley. Your wings touch nothing but gossamer clouds and the very wind itself. Now relax and enjoy the acts that were booked in previous weeks for your entertainment. They have been looking forward to this time. Of course, the show's hosts, Jay and Matthew, would love to entertain you, but they are unable to escape. Remain seated, please. Thank you. These two hosts are actually their family's friends' kids, and they have been restrained for their own personal safety as well as the safety of others. If they are not held at bay, they will do some really weird actions for hours on end. Although they have not been clinically diagnosed, it has been determined that they are the weirdest two guys in the general public. They started acting weird from the moment they were removed from their mother's wombs by Drs. Malkostoth and Scott Surden, respective OB-GYNs. There was the time on that road trip Jay put 1 cent of gasoline into his car, and the time Matthew put an Apple sticker on the back of the BlackBerry phones in Best Buy. The time Jay went to church and was headbanging to the songs the choir sings, or the time Matthew considered playing Naked Twister in the middle of a busy expressway. And of course, they're trolling. As you can see, the live event hosts are definitely at least a little bit off, so the straitjacket decision was made with relative ease. How did two 21-year-old straitjacketed family friends' sons end up with a show at Pecos? Well, hobbies do have physical health benefits. Research has found that engaging in satisfying activities during downtime is associated with lower blood pressure, total cortisol, waist circumference, and body mass index. It can't be denied that producing and hosting live events is a hobby that those weird guys carry out in a very real way. This particular manifestation of their hobby, tonight's show, was brought into development phase on January 1st, 2018. After years of doing stand-up as a hobby, Jay and Matthew resolved to begin hosting a show as a New Year's resolution. So Jay contacted friend Lucas Nathan, a musician who used to live in the tri-state area. He provided a list of preferred venues. As a musician of some renown, who was open for Mac DeMarco and collaborated with Bad Bad Not Good, a Toronto-based group that has worked with Kendrick Lamar, Tyler the Creator, Danny Brown, and Ghostface Killer, Lucas has performed dozens of shows, so his event space recommendations meant a lot to Jay and Matthew. Let's have a look at the spreadsheet those weird guys compiled following Lucas's Rex. It can be inferred from the list that they were looking for a venue with a decent but not too huge capacity, a financial arrangement that would allow them to make a profit from hobby-associated exertion, and a location in a hip, charming, and up-and-coming neighborhood. Jay and Matthew wrote to many of these event spaces to see if they could find a match. None seemed quite right, until Pecos. Correspondence with Pecos began with a simple email introduction and escalated quickly. Campay's suggestion of music was met with open arms, as both Jay and Matthew can stomach hours of music and even will find themselves occasionally getting lost into it. Naturally, they had to arrange a time to see the venue. The capacity of Pecos seemed adequate, so they decided to do the show there. However, the adequacy of the capacity has remained not fully tested until tonight, the night of the live event. It is up to you. Let's do a jump to determine if Pecos was indeed the correct decision in terms of capacity. After the timer counts from 10 to 1, everyone take a jump. If the building shakes, then this venue is not right for tonight's event. If it remains firm, then this venue was indeed the correct choice. Obviously, I recorded this message at a previous date, so there's no way I can properly react to what just happened. However, if the building vibrated, it is advised that you talk amongst yourselves to determine which 20% of you should quietly and respectfully exit the building. By the way, prior experiences dictated that showgazers who quietly leave should be the ones with the least interest in the show at hand. Be honest with yourself so that people with a stronger interest can enjoy their time here. Again, ignore this message in the event that the building did not vibrate, but in the event that it did vibrate, to those who have stayed, we trust that you are being honest with yourselves as well as your neighbors about truly wanting to be here. When one practices deception, even this minuscule localized change in a complex system, such as Ridgewood Community, can have large effects elsewhere, much as a butterfly might land on a puppy's nose. It occurs to me I might have been too harsh in my recent words in the sentence before the last. Hope that wasn't too awkward. But imagine how awkward it must be for these hosts to be on stage wearing straitjackets and silencing gags. These obnoxious jackets have straps that surpass the tips of wearers' fingers, which are crossed against the chest and tied back behind the wearer, ensuring as little movement as possible. And wearing an institutional straitjacket for long periods of time causes pain for wearers. Blood pools in the elbows, causing swelling. Bone and muscle stiffness causes the upper arms and shoulders excruciating pain. Despite all this, the jackets must remain on, or ridiculous hosting behavior that is sure to raise eyebrows will instantly result. Do not remove the jackets and silencing gags. 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 Jackets and silencing gags. Do not remove the jackets and silencing gags.
The straitjackets and silencing gags have been removed.
We are free to move our arms freely and become hosts. It's cold in here.
It's so cold outside of these straitjackets. Ooh.
I feel like I'm spending time with one of Santa's elves out in the cold.
I actually have goosebumps sprouting out all over my body. We got to get some kind of jacket.
We'll be right back. We need to go get some jackets. Not straight jackets, just warm jackets.
I'm glad we're out of those jackets, but we got to get some kind of jackets.
Well, Good evening and welcome. All right, thank you all for being here at this live event funded by Friends of Jocelyn C. Burnett, celebrating the Alliance of Music, Arts, and Education. Woohoo! Well, my name is Erin Hill, and it is my pleasure to be your MC this evening. Thank you. I'm up here tonight as a result of, well, an arrangement between two parties, as they were operating privately. Details of contract negotiations needn't be disclosed. However, what I can tell you is that concerned event organizers invited me to be here tonight to stand in for hosts Jay and Matthew in the scenario that they were indisposed. So, as the emergency speaker, my job is to encourage audience members in crisis situations to find and live their truths. Now, my background is IT management, but my passion has always been in media. And in recent years, I have made the transition from being in front of a computer screen to being in front of a camera. And, as well as creating and producing content for multinational networks. So, let's see. What has happened in the last few years that I can tell you? Okay. My Celtic album hit #1 on the Billboard World Chart. Thank you. We actually knocked Celtic Woman out of the #1 spot for 1 week. So, and let's see, I have played and sung with Kanye West and Enya and Moby and Cyndi Lauper and a bunch of other people. And I signed my first record deal last year with Cleopatra Records in Los Angeles, and I do all sorts of songs from Sinatra on up to, Radiohead and stuff like that. So, okay. So... Thank you. Now, I'd like to quote Napoleon. Napoleon once said, "What the mind can conceive and believe, the mind can achieve." Mm-hmm. And everyone standing here is a testament to those words. We have an incredible program ahead of us tonight. Not only are we honoring outstanding creatives, but we are engaging them in a meaningful discussion about the furthering of knowledge through the tireless efforts of Nadia Fisk, PhD, Andrea Penaloza, MD, PhD, and Patricia Jabray, MD, PhD. Now, for those of you who do not know Dr. Fisk, she is the chair of Jocelyn's Finance Committee, and as CEO of Schuster Construction, she's considered a leader in the building industry. And then afterwards, we celebrate with coffee and desserts. Okay. Now, at this time, I would like to introduce, guess what? The first of two sets from, yes, the Lemon Twigs. The Lemon Twigs are an American rock band from Hicksville, Long Island, New York, fronted by brothers Brian D'Addario and Michael D'Addario. Both brothers are vocalists, songwriters, and multi-instrumentalists. All of the members of the Lemon Twigs attended Hicksville High School, which is also the alma mater of rock legend Billy Joel. Now, Jay and Matthew's first introduction to the Lemon Twigs was from using a social media platform known for its strict character restrictions and its minimalist pared-down aesthetic featuring a bird as its mascot. This quickly led to receiving pleasure through their music, and now the Lemon Twigs are listed as one of their top Spotify artists of all time. Please welcome the Lemon Twigs.
All right. One. You hear me? Yeah. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. caught me when I said I love her still. I wanted to say what I felt that day. I said I always will. And I wanna say I miss you, and I wish that I was with you, but Pat and I wonder why. She couldn't stand to see me walking with my own two legs. I needed her then more than I'd ever again. Fell on my knees and begged. I said I'm sorry that I waste you. A girl like you was made to be. Pat and I wonder why. And I won't say you're pretty if you think you're too busy to put your hand in mine. It happens all the time. I wanna be with you. If love is what you knew, then why didn't you say that? And I won't say you're pretty if you think you're too busy to put your hand in mine. It happens all the time. I wanna be with you. If love is what you knew, then why didn't you say that? Why didn't you say that? Say that.
Thanks very much.
Well, I know I might be wrong, and the vows I haven't made may be wasted, copy and pasted from false memories. And I very well could be expecting too much from a lover. I needlessly suffer for soft yesterdays and lovely laying on a porch in the rain. When faced with adverse circumstance, it's the same. Still, you love me. You say so enough to recognize that you're lucky. You think so, but how lucky am I? If I turn it on its head, will the blood rush to it and make me dizzy? a dog on a collar, for I make no sense. Afraid that hurtful words could fill my last breath. A million memories could not sew my chest. Still, I heard you say so, enough to make you cry. Still, you don't know, I don't show the reason for my Thank you very much.
Thanks.
We'll be back in a bit. More show, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, the Lemon Twigs. Ladies and gentlemen, that was beautiful and awesome. All right. Now, at this juncture, I would like to introduce Jay and Matthew's favorite pop artist, Demi Davis. Demi, are you making your way up here? I hope. Okay, let me tell you about Demi. At age 13, she discovered her love for music and wrote her first two songs, Hair and Beauty Queen. Now, being a girly girl, she wrote happy pop songs about pretty things, but eventually dove into exploring different styles of music. She even got, yes? Ah, there she is. Hi. Ah, speak of the Demi. She even got a karaoke machine to practice singing. She was discovering all types of music, but her heart belonged to pop. Now, in 2007, when our two hosts, those weird guys, were entering the 4th grade, Demi Davis got into a studio to learn about recording and production. She worked with a man named Milton in the Bronx, New York. He taught her almost everything she knows. At their first session, he had her write and arrange a song in 30 minutes. They recorded it the same night, and he couldn't believe she had never recorded before. Since then, she's worked with about 7 other producers, which was a great way to get different input to shape her unique style. Now, she is heavily influenced by Rihanna, Gwen Stefani, Mariah Carey, Madonna, Pink, Cyndi Lauper, Kylie Minogue, and Robyn. Now, her style of music is a blend of pop and electro dance beats. She loves unique sounding and catchy rhythms. And besides her music, she keeps busy by writing for other artists, licensing, dancing, acting, and modeling. Demi Davis is constantly evolving and discovering the world through music. And guess what? She wants to share the experience with you all tonight. And now, please welcome and enjoy Demi Davis.
I'm delirious. It's too hot. I'm starting to sweat and the heat is rising. I can breathe and it's not surprising. Hot, 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 hot. Take off your shirt and it's mesmerizing. Staring eyes hypnotizing. Hot, 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 hot. Thought you were around before, looking so good and fine. You walking beyond the door, the club's on point tonight. I need your attention, so I make my way to the floor. Another dimension, I'll make you beg for more. Starting to sweat and the heat is rising. I can breathe and it's not surprising. Hot, 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 hot. Take off your shirt, it's mesmerizing. Staring eyes hypnotizing. Hot, 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 you sweat and the heat is rising. I can breathe and it's not surprising. Hot, 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 hot. Take off your shirt and it's mesmerizing. Staring eyes hypnotizing. Hot, 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 hot. And then he touched me, started to melt me down. Adrenaline rushing as we danced and hit the ground. You sweat and the heat is rising. I can breathe and it's not surprising. Hot, 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 hot. Take off your shirt and it's mesmerizing. Staring eyes hypnotizing. Hot, 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 hot.
I want you to sing with me again. Ready? We're gonna sing hot. Come on, Queen. You got it right, right? Thank you very much, Pecos. I'm Demi Davis, DemiDavis.com. Enjoy the rest of the night. Bye, guys.
Thank you, Demi. That was awesome. All right. Hope you liked my video I took of that. Okay. Now, we can only assume at this point that those weird guys, they will not be returning this evening. But we hope that they at least found their jackets, as it is still technically winter. We will now withdraw for a 10-minute intermission. Feel free to walk around, stretch, and talk with your neighbors, asking one another what their experience has been like thus far. And you might be surprised to hear what's going on in the mind of someone standing just a few feet away. I am happy to say that Trans Pecos is an excellent establishment, an all-ages venue for new music, a Trans Am cafe, daily community programming, and an overall resource center. So please, as you go about your next actions, please consider supporting the venue by purchasing cocktails or, really any beverage. You need not look at the stage anymore. That time has passed. And you now have total autonomy for the next 10 minutes. Thank you. Let's get back to the task at hand. Okay. And in order to properly sub for Jay and Matthew, I actually need some light so I can read. Wow, all right. Excellent. Intermission has come to its proper end and now is a thing of the past. Sure, it may live on in the history books, but that's something the students can concern themselves with. All right, I would like to welcome you back with another song. I mentioned earlier that I played with Kanye West for several years, and so I thought I'd do a Kanye song for you. Just a #1 champion sound, yeah, still we about to get down. Who's the hottest in the world right now? Just touched down in London town. Bet they give me a pound, tell them put the money in my hand right now. Tell the promoter to add more seats, we just sold out all the floor seats. Take me on a trip, I'd like to go someday. Take me to New York, I'd like to see LA. I really want to come kick it with you. You'll be my American boy. Thank you, thank you. All right, now, let me tell you, Jay and Matthew were really excited when booking this next act, Dougie Poole. He is a non-traditional country singer-songwriter based in Brooklyn, New York. Replacing pedal steel guitar and fiddles with synths and samples, Poole recontextualizes traditional country sounds, storytelling, and song structures, creating tunes that are at once new and familiar. Those weird guys actually watched Dougie Poole play pool. Now that's a lot of Poole, and you can even find more Poole on his latest album, Wide Ass Highway. Please put your hands together for Dougie Poole.
Can we reprogram ourselves for loving? Can we reprogram ourselves for love? Can we reprogram ourselves for loving? I don't know if we can. I don't know if we can. I don't know. What am I supposed to do? Someone please tell me. When old men say, what am I supposed to do? Someone please tell me. Can we reprogram ourselves for loving? Can we reprogram ourselves for love? Can we reprogram ourselves for life? I don't know if we can. I don't know if we can. I don't know.
Thank you, Dougie Poole. You know, I'm originally from Louisville, Kentucky, so I can really appreciate the twist on the country, having grown up with that. All right, let's see. All right. Let me tell you something about Jay and Matthew. Jay and Matthew, hold on one sec. All right. As I was saying, Jay and Matthew, they enjoy listening to all kinds of music. But one kind of music that they really enjoy is tenor vocalists. So, born in 1973 in, now I don't know how to pronounce this city, it's in Haiti. Isaacson, are you out there? Can you help me with that? Kai, okay. Kai, Haiti. Isaacson Buteau had to overcome many obstacles before being able to develop his natural talent as a singer. The political situation forced him to leave Haiti in 1993 to reside in the USA, where he enrolled in the medical program at Florida International University. And he obtained a nursing degree, a bachelor degree in nursing. Now, encouraged by faculty members, he pursued voice studies at the Miami Music Works and the University of Miami. The one in Miami, right? Not the one in Ohio, I think. Okay. Among his teachers are Pamela Ascroft and Dr. David Mallis. Now, Mr. Buteau has sung in locations including Miami, Atlanta, Boston, New Jersey, and New York. In Florida, he won several TV competitions. And in December of 2011, Isaacson Buteau was the very first Haitian operatic tenor to take center stage in the 120-year history of Carnegie Hall. All right. Mr. Buteau donates a share of the proceeds from all of his performances to Haitian orphans. He is a registered nurse, and he is fluent in English, French, Spanish, Portuguese, Haitian Creole, and Italian. He plays the piano and the guitar as well. Well, are you ready, Isaacson? Are you ready? Where are you? Come on up if we can get a path for you to the stage. He's on his way. And here he is.
Yes, I'm gonna.
Solo sogna l'orizzonte mancano le parole. Se lo so che non c'è luce in la stanza quando manca il sole. Se non ci sei tu con me, su le finestre mostra a tutti il mio cuore che hai acceso. Chiudi dentro me la luce che hai incontrato per strada. Con te, adesso si vivrà con te, partirò su navi per mari e io lo so, non esistono più, con te io li vivrò. Sei lontana, sogna all'orizzonte e mancano le parole. Io sì lo so che sei con me, tu mia luna, tu sei qui con me. Io so che tu sei qui con me, con me. giornata è sole, un'aria serena dopo una tempesta. La tua finestra toia restaria. Che bella cosa la giornata sola. Mamma, tu sola, che bello in me. Oh, sole mia, star fronte a te. Oh, sole, oh, sole mia, stan fronte a te, stanno fronte a te. Quando fa notte, o sole se ne scende, me vene quasi la malinconia. Sotto a finestra toia restaria. Quando fa notte o sole se ne scende. Mamma, tu sei più bella in me. Oh, sole mia, star fronte a te. Oh, sole, oh, sole mia, stan fronte a te, stan fronte a te. Oh, sole, oh, sole mia, stan fronte a te, stan fronte a
All right. At this junction, Petticoat Junction, I would like to introduce one of Jay and Matthew's newest friends, Dr. Richard D. Feinman, PhD. Now, in particular, Matthew has spent a great deal of time on the phone with Dr. Feinman, including on weekends, and he has been reading through his book. Principal author of the 26-author comprehensive review, Dr. Feinman has long been a critic of the current state of medical nutrition and the associated literature. His book, The World Turned Upside Down, The Second Low Carbohydrate Revolution, that's the name of the book. It describes how the science of carbohydrate restriction, arising from a ragtag collection of popular diets, defeated the powerful low-fat army and became the default approach to health. Now, his current, yes? What was that? Okay. So, Dr. Feinman's current research is part of the program in ketogenic diets for cancer, spearheaded by Dr. Eugene J. Fine of the Albert Einstein College of Medicine. Now, they asked whether dietary carbohydrate restriction, and in particular, the ketotic state that is generated, I'm generating a ketotic state, can target the disruption in metabolism reflected in the Warburg effect. They found that the acetoacetate, which is one of the ketone bodies, inhibits growth and ATP in several cancer lines grown in culture. Normal fibroblasts, they're not affected. Okay, now, whew! All right, there's a lot of new words to learn how to pronounce. And now I am excited to present Dr. Richard D. Feinman, PhD.
Okay, can you hear this? Well, thanks for the great introduction. And notwithstanding, this is the original tough act to follow. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about diabetes. It's become an epidemic, and it's become something of a scandal, but you can see that it's in the news. It's WNYC, the public radio. Public radio is doing a series on it right now. And I did call the station and tell them how to straighten things out, but they weren't really paying attention. Next. So you know there's a crisis in nutrition because any media that you read tells you that science has just found a new toxin that will give you a heart attack or cause you to die before your time, and it turns out to be something that you just had for lunch. So I'm going to try to give you some sense of rules, 3 rules that you could use to make some progress in your own diet. And I'll do it in the context of diabetes because diabetes is like it's the supreme example of a metabolic disease. And if we can get a handle on diabetes, we can probably get a handle on many associated diseases, including obesity. So the most obvious feature of diabetes is hyperglycemia, which means high blood sugar. So you have high glucose in the blood. And this is due to two major types of diabetes. In type 1, people are not secreting the hormone insulin, which is required to both take care of glucose and many other metabolic states. So, and it's probably an autoimmune disease. So, not too many heavy-duty scientific slides, but when you ingest a high-carbohydrate meal, your blood glucose goes up, and in response, in a normal person, insulin is secreted, and this catalyzes through, in several different ways, the clearance of the glucose.
Insulin is, she knows. No, insulin is what they give you when you're having a seizure. No, it's not. Yeah, you have a seizure and you get insulin. Do you get insulin when you have a seizure?
No. Oh, well, wait, you get insulin if you have a
Heart attack.
very high blood glucose. If a person with type 1 diabetes has to inject insulin, okay, because they're not making their own, and yeah.
Maybe you can hold it so we can hear when you turn back to that.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so you need insulin. Normal people make it themselves. A person with type 1 diabetes has to inject it. So you could have a serious condition of high blood glucose where you have to inject it. The reason that reducing the carbohydrate intake is a good idea for people with type 1 is that you don't have to inject as much insulin and you get better control. Glucagon is another hormone which opposes the action of insulin. But what this shows you here is IDDM stands for insulin-dependent diabetes mellitus. That's the old name for type 1. And it shows you that people with that condition do not have a normal clearance of blood glucose. The glucose stays high. Now, next is type 2. You have poor utilization of glucose. So people with type 2 are not able to take advantage of the insulin that they have. And it also leads to compensatory overproduction by the pancreas and deterioration. The pancreas is the organ that secretes insulin. So can we go back? So we want to know, well, let me give you the bottom line. We really know how to treat type 2 diabetes, and that is with a seriously low carbohydrate diet. It's straightforward, it makes sense, it was done before the discovery of insulin, and the opposition of the medical establishment is very hard to understand. So this is the big mistake, that you are what you eat, and the idea was that if you eat a lot of fat, you're going to get fat, and that's not true. And this was extended to the idea that if you eat fat, it's going to clog up your arteries, and that's also not true. So dietary fats don't make you fat, and a better principle is you are what your body does with what you eat. In other words, if you keep carbohydrate low, you get better control over the other food that you take in. And hormones affect the rates of metabolic processes. Insulin is not the only hormone, but I usually describe this because people tend to object to low carbohydrate diets in the sense that they're overly simple about the role of insulin. And the way I usually describe metabolism is it's like American football. There are at least 22 things going on at once, but you get very far following the quarterback. So if you want a picture of metabolism, insulin is the quarterback in metabolism. Not every play goes back to insulin, but it's the thing to follow. So here's 3 rules that should help you. Next is the first rule, is if you're okay, you're okay.
How do you know if you're okay?
If you're not overweight and you don't have any disease and you get a little bit of exercise at least, then you're okay. It means that whatever you're eating is probably fine. Now you may want to find out if there really is something to ketogenic diets, but the idea that, you know, we once had a Garden of Eden diet till some guy brought high fructose corn syrup into the world. I don't think that's right. So the second rule is if you want to lose weight, don't eat. I said this as a joke at a conference, but it was in reaction to all kinds of crazy ideas that people have. You do have to cut down calories. That doesn't mean that starvation's a good idea. The problem is that you will you'll run down your body protein. And part of that is if you have to eat, don't eat carbs. So the thing is that there are a lot of practical approaches. There's a million low-carb diets out there. And if you want to try it, there's nothing better for losing weight. And finally, if you have diabetes or metabolic syndrome is a collection of clinical markers that predisposes to diabetes and cardiovascular disease. And there it's it shouldn't be an option. That should be the thing that you consider first. It may not be for everybody, and there are many drugs, but it should be the first line of attack. But there's been a lot of resistance to that. So can I justify it? Next slide. Well, this just gives you an idea of what we mean by low carbohydrate. A workable day-to-day low carbohydrate diet is under 100 grams. And the ketogenic diet is very low, but this gives you an idea of what kind of, how foods fit in. The high protein foods don't have any carbs. The real problem is of things that you eat normally are bread and milk, and those are high carbs. If you want to go on a low carb diet, you're going to have to cut those out. So this is the ultimate study. We've been testing low-fat diets for years, and this is the mother of all low-fat diet tests. The next slide is the summary. And they spent over $400 million on, this is part of this. If you go back, you have my response to it, probably from just watching Apollo 13. If you don't know, Bethesda is where the NIH is. But they got nothing out of this, and they did all the things that were appropriate for a low-fat diet. Well, I only have 2 more points. I'm going to make these 2 points. I actually got confused. I misunderstood. I thought Matt was giving me 10 hours. But, so this, I just have these 2 points. This is the comparison of low-carb diets with a low glycemic index diet, which is a kind of weak form, and without going into that, and it also compared to the high cereal diet, and the results are next. You can just do the whole series.
Is cereal bad?
Is cereal bad? Cereal isn't bad if it doesn't make you fat and give you diabetes. It's, not everybody needs to be on a low-carb diet. I just want to finish up with this, the red meat story, because they're trying to tell us to stop eating red meat. If you go ahead, I'll just go through the next one. And this shows you how complicated the stuff is. This is I'm just going to show you how they try to justify something that doesn't make any sense, and then I'll tell you a joke, and then I'll leave. So, you know, if you show that reducing carbohydrates helps you lose weight, you have to be careful that it's not just due to calories, and so you have to correct for calories, which is very important up to a point. These guys were correcting for, you can do for the next one, race, age, smoking status, initial red meat consumption, shirt size. No, they didn't. So I'll tell you what this makes me think of. So the woman calls the police because the guy across the street is exposing himself. And so the cop, I think some of you see where this is going. The cop says, lady, that window is too high. I can't see anything. And she says, sure, where you are, but stand on this chair and you'll see what I'm talking about. So if you have to do all that work to prove the point, it's not real. That's the last slide and asks the question, how many scientists does it take to change a bad idea?
Thank you so much, Dr. Feinman.
We're going to play a song for all the kids in the audience. This song for all the kids. If somehow I was standing in your room without my boots, with your spider in my hand, and I look at you, and my skin is red. Yeah, arm to arm and thigh to thigh, even though there's plenty of room. And I look just like an owl, and you think that's just fine. It doesn't matter anyway. As long as we're together, I don't see what's wrong with that. As long as we're together, I don't see what's wrong with I don't think I'll be bitter. Hey, you must not know yourself very well. You will be silent for a few months, but all that shit he said, I don't know what I read. Sweatshirt way outside, we've only ever talked. For what seemed like an hour, I was so happy. These must be common things. Together, I don't see what's wrong with that. As long as we're together, I don't see what's wrong with that. As long as we're together, I don't see what's wrong with 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. I moved so quickly, I thought I knew nothing but what I had known all along to be true in this plane. I was a baby born bound to all limits of children whose blindness is taken for sight all the same. You really think they can hold you? Don't listen to what they told you. Your life's only good as love if you give enough. You wake up shaking from money you're making, just wondering when will the day be that you lose it all. You've been astounded by dollars compounded, so much so that your sense of self has been shrunk very small. You really think that can save you, that which was made to enslave you. Your life's only good as love if you give enough. You really think they can hold you? Oh, please don't let them destroy you. Your life's only good as love if you give enough.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a great evening for us.
I had a lot of fun.
One of my favorites. And thank you very much. You've been wonderful. Wonderful.
One more. Everybody's somebody's fool. The world is the biggest school. As you live, you learn. Though a torch may burn, everybody's somebody's fool. You go through life making fools of others, pretending they're giving you love. But remember, sister or brother, we all have to answer to the one up above. It's beautiful to watch love begin, but also sad when it ends. As you go through life, remember this rule:
through life making fools of others, pretending you're giving them love. But remember, sister or brother, we're all gonna have to answer to the one up above. It's beautiful to watch love begin, but it's oh so sad when it ends. As you go through life, remember this rule: everybody's somebody's fool. Everybody's somebody's fool. Thank you very much.
Thank you so
Thanks
much.
to those weird guys and everybody else. The doctor, the harpist, the whole thing. Wonderful.